Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to talk about a build which saw an increase in popularity after the recent Scourge nerfs. So as you might know already, the Scourge was nerfed in the corruption, so there were needed some more options for corrupting boons on the enemies. The power strip Virtuoso is very strong at corrupting boons, at removing boons actually, not corrupting, and also can unleash a strong damage. The only downside of this build is that their skills are kinda slow and easily dodgeable, and so you cannot just press a button and you will corrupt enemies or do damage on the enemies. So it will be a bit slow, but still the amount of strips is worth taking this class in my opinion. So let's get into the build. We run Illusions, Domination and Virtuoso. On the Illusion trait line we get Shatter Skill 1 becomes an ammo skill, so you can use twice your skill 2, it becomes a charge, and it will also be recharging while you have only one charge left, so meaning that you will have a stronger burst ready. Then we run the Escape Artist. This was changed recently. When you create a phantasm, you grant it distortion for 5 seconds. Very huge skill. Very huge trait, sorry, not skill. Here we run Master of Fragmentation. Your shatter skills are improved. Basically, this gives us 25% more critical chance on our F1. Our F2 will cripple the enemies. Our F3 will hit 5 targets instead of 1. Our F4 will make us reflect projectiles while we are invulnerable, and the Blade Turn Requiem will last 1 more second, the F5. On Domination we get Bountiful Blades, which makes us our skill 2 and 4 of Greatsword be stronger, less damage, but still you will summon 2 Phantasmal Berserker instead of 1, and also your skill 2 will have 2 additional bounces. Here we get the Shatter Concentration, which makes this build viable. Shatter Skills also remove a boon on hit. Very strong skill, and also later I will explain why. Here you can get Vicious Expression if you want more damage, but I think it will not be worth it. You should run most of the time Mental Anguish, 10% damage increase from your Shatter and 20% more damage increase if the enemy is not activating a skill. So this is very niche and in my opinion shouldn't be used. Just go Mental Anguish. On the Virtuoso trait line we run Blade Turn Refrain. Blade Song grants Aegis, so we get Aegis and we can block an attack and survive more. And also another thing I will show you in a second. Here we get blocking or dodging an attack grants boons. We get Quickness, Fury and Regeneration whenever we dodge an attack. So when you see you dodge, it's not enough. You gotta see evade from an enemy attack. When you see evade or you block an attack, which also works from the Aegis you grant yourself right now with your F1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, you get Quickness, Fury and Regeneration. Here a very strong minor trait, which makes our Fury be stronger, so you just need to reach 70% critical chance with your gears, because Fury will grant us 30% more damage, 30% more critical chance instead of 20. And also we provide our own Fury to ourselves with this trait right here, so most of the time you will have Fury on yourself, and hopefully if you are not permanently Fury on you, your support should provide it. Here we run another very strong trait which makes this build viable together with the Shattered Concentration. Blocking or evading an attack stocks blades, so whenever you block or you see evade after you dodge, you will stock 2 blades. Dodging stocks a blade and causes your next blade song to be unblockable. So whenever you dodge, even if you don't evade anything, you will cause your next blade song to be unblockable, meaning that it cannot also be reflected. Because as you might know already, blocking an attack, reflecting an attack means also blocking. If an attack is unblockable, it cannot be blocked nor reflected. And also the single dodge, even without evade, will grant us one blade in stock. So this is a very strong trait, the best trait from Virtuoso, which makes this build viable. Okay, for the gears it can be a little bit tricky on this build, because we have this trait right here, which makes our Fury give us 30% critical chance instead of 20. So you should just aim to reach 70% critical chance. Right now I have 65 because I am missing the major bloodlust from the Borderlands ruins, and also I should maybe change some gear to Assassins to get more precision. But still, I would just recommend going full Marauder for the additional vitality, and also most of your skill will almost all the time will be critical, and also we have 25% more critical chance on our F1, which is our most important skill. We run full Marauder with Scholar runes. Then on the Greatsword we run Energy and Force. On the Dagger and Focus we run Energy and Bloodlust. And everything else is full Marauder, because we need the vitality and the precision and the ferocity and the power, of course. The Superior Sigil of Energy is very strong because we have this trait right here, which makes our need for dodges be more than any other class, because with a dodge we get the unblockable Shatter, and the unblockable Shatter means strips and damage. Some people just choose to lower their critical chance to 45, because the most damageful skill on your build will be your F1, which also have an additional 25% critical chance. So you will get 35 from the gears, 25 right here, and you reach 70, and then with Fury you reach 100 critical chance only with your F1. The other skills will be stopped at 75% critical chance if you have Fury. This can be achieved by changing your gears from Marauders, which is additional precision, to Dragons, which is less precision but more ferocity. So your F1s will even do more damage with this option right here. You run more ferocity but less precision, but you don't need that much precision from Marauder if you have this trait right here. I wouldn't recommend using this option because I think also other skills can do damage. Your F2, your F3, your skill 3 from the Dagger, your Phantasmal Berserker, the skill 3 and the skill 2, your auto attacks. I wouldn't sacrifice 25 critical chance from all the skills just to boost the F1. But it's your choice, maybe it's better, maybe it is not. It's up to you. So, I want to show you how the skills works from the Virtuoso, and I will use these golems as a test. Your auto attack is a very long range skill, it is channeled, and it will hit any enemies in between you and your target, so you should always be targeting your farthest enemy. Your skill 2 is an unblockable skill which throws a blade to your enemies, and it will bounce to you and to the enemies if there are any enemies in range, and it also will grant might to you and to your allies, and also will stock a blade because it stocks an illusion normally, but on Virtuoso you get the blade. Very strong damage skill because it is unblockable, so nothing can stop it. Your skill 3 is a very strong damage skill. It will deal a lot of damage in an AoE. It is kinda slow in the aftercast sometimes unless you move out fast, so be careful about it. And also this skill most of the time will be on your top skills on your arc DPS, at least on your top 5. Even if it might not seem like that, it will be most of the time, you see. It also is a kinda big AoE, so remember to use it almost off cooldown. Your skill 4 will launch a blade to the enemy, and once this blade hits, the enemy will get a boon removed. This is PvE, so you see 2 boons, but in reality in War vs World it only removes 1 boon. And after the blade launches on the enemies, you will summon 2 Phantasmal Berserkers, because we have this trait right here. We summon 2 Berserkers instead of 1, and this Berserker will hit the enemies and perform their attack. They cannot be killed because you have Escape Artist, so they will get Distortion, and after they are done with their attack you will get a blade, as you will see. I will use right now my F1, so I deplete my blades. Skill 4, you remove the boons, they perform their attack, and you see you got 2 blades. Very strong skill. On your dagger and focus, you have the auto attack from the dagger, which is a projectile, so it's not the best for War vs Sword. The skill 2 is projectile 2, so it's not the best. The skill 3 was recently changed, so you just place it and it will deal damage for you to the nearby enemies, and onto the AoE you just cast it. The skill 4 is the temporal curtain, the famous pull. You pull 2 golems to right there, and it's very useful to remove people from the towers, like they stand on the walls using the sieges. You use this one and you pull them down and you can kill them. Then we have the Phantasmal Warden here, which summon a phantasm which attacks the nearby enemies and also will reflect any attack which will go into it. So it is a very strong skill and you should use it properly. Okay, so now I want to cover the utility skills. The skill 6, the Signet of the Aether, will recharge your phantasm by 50%. This is PvE, it's 100%, but in War vs World you will have 50%. So you see, I use my skill 4, it is a phantasm. My skill 6 will recharge it. This works also for your skill 5 from your focus, and also on your Phantasmal Disenchanter. Very strong healing skill to boost your skills spamming. Then we have Null Field. Basically it is a big field which removes boons from enemies and removes conditions from allies which are inside it. I recommend using the Mimic before the Null Field. The Mimic basically will make your next utility skill you use reduced recharge to 1 second. So you use the Mimic, then immediately use the Null Field, and then you can use also another Null Field, because the first one will have 1 second of cooldown. Let's see, hit Mimic, Null Field, and we have another Null Field. Imagine how much strips you will get into World vs World with this. Then, as another utility skill, I run the Phantasmal Disenchanter, which removes 2 boons in War vs World instead of 5 from PvE. So you attack your enemy, they have these boons right here, you press this, and it will attack, and this attack will bounce onto the enemies. And also, this one is a phantasm, so the phantasm will be invulnerable for 5 seconds, so for the whole duration, and also you will stock a blade. As utility skill, I run 1000 Cuts, which is an unblockable long range skill, which is very slow in the cast, but still it does a lot of damage if it hits, so be sure to hit it properly. You cast it on the enemy Zerg when they are stopping, and this will just be attacking the enemies and you can move around doing your stuff. That skill is considered like a well, maybe, from the Necromancer. You just drop it and you can move around and it will do the job. Okay, now I want to cover the Shatter Skills. Let's start from the F1. Don't forget that your F1 has a second charge because of this trait. Also, it will remove a boon for each hit, so you have like 5 blades. You can remove up to 5 boons to enemies, 5 boons per enemy. So if you hit 5 enemies, which all of them have 5 boons, you will remove 25 boons with a single cast of your F1. Very strong skill. Also, your F1 will have an increased critical chance by 25%, which is huge. You will be sure to hit it critical even if you don't have Fury most of the time. And also, your F1 not only pierces, but also will be unblockable, making it also unreflectable. This will happen only if you dodge before using your F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. So make sure you always dodge before using any of your Shatter, if you have it. And that's also why we run the Superior Sigil of Energy. So now I attack my enemies, they get the boons because of the instability. I dodge, my Shatter will be unblockable, F1, and every blade will remove a boon from the enemies. So this is a very huge skill and you should use it almost off cooldown, and also make sure you evade an attack, so you get 3 blades stocked just by evading an attack, and then maybe your Aegis will also grant you an additional boon, an additional blade, and so you get F1 again with 5 blades. So you see the boon strip potential is so high on this class. Your F2 is very similar to your F1, but the damage is lower, so let's see it. I attack my enemies, they get this, F2, and you remove the boons and shatter onto them, and also this will pierce, and you can get the unblockable from this trait right here. Your F3 skill now will hit up to 5 enemies instead of only 1, but still it will just remove 1 boon, as we can see from the wiki. Blade Song Dissonance always removes 1 boon regardless of the number of blades consumed. So even if we use this trait right here, which makes our F3 hit 5 targets instead of 1, we will just corrupt 1 boon instead of 5, even if you have 5 stocked blade when you use it. But still you will hit 5 enemies instead of 1, so I guess it's something. Next up we have the F4, which makes us distorted and invulnerable, of course, for 1 second per every stock blade we used while we use this skill, so up to 5 seconds of invulnerability, and also this will hit in a short radius around you of 240 and will remove 1 boon from only 1 target, as we can see from the wiki. So let's see it. I have 5 blades, I use my F4, you will just remove 1 boon. It is nice, I didn't even expect this to remove any boons, and also you will reflect the projectiles because of this trait right here, which boosts every Shatter Skills. Up next, last but not least, we have our F5, which creates a field around us, which pulses damage onto the enemies, and also for each hit on the enemy, we will remove a boon from them. This skill duration is based on your stocked blades. You have 5 blades, it will last 5 seconds and also an additional second because of the Master of Fragmentation trait. So now I attack my enemy, I use my F5, you see, you will keep removing boons from your enemies, up to 6 boons per enemies. So it's so strong in melee, and also this can be unblockable if you dodge before using it. Make sure you always dodge before using any Shatter skill. Okay, I think I covered almost every aspect of this class. Let me know in the comments if I missed any, because sometimes I also forget stuff, of course, as you might know already. And also let me know if you already played this build, and if you will play it, and how it feels in your hands. I really like this build. On the paper is one of the strongest builds ever in my opinion, but still it's very difficult to execute properly because the enemy will dodge a lot, they will move a lot around, and some other classes are just much easier to put DPS on the enemies. This one will not be the best very DPS compared like to Vindicator or Berserkers, but still the strips amounts are very strong and very high, and you are supposed to be outstripping everyone in your squad. I will leave you a short gameplay right now. There is no commentary in this video because I chose to focus on the skills which I showed you on the target golems in the fractals. So let me know also if you like the new format, and please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Also don't forget to join my giveaway, which you can see in my community post page. Thank you for watching and see you on to the next video. Bye!